Jai Hind, my dear students. Welcome all of you to my second video related to revision in accountancy 2020-21. Welcome all of you. You have to watch the full video, then only you will get the clear-cut idea regarding the remaining chapters. Don't forget to share my videos with your friends. You will get definitely 100% score in your exams. That much effort you have to take by watching this video. All the contents are arranged as per the previous year's board exams. Don't forget to watch the part 2 video from the accountancy revision. You will get 100%. Moving to the next chapter, issue of debenture. Issue of debenture. We have to very careful this time. Some important areas from the chapter issue of debenture is deleted, like methods of redemption of debenture. So we have to concentrate on some other areas which are less important in the previous year board exams. So moving to the different concepts in issue of debenture, you know very well the meaning of debenture. It is a borrowed fund. You have to remember it is a long-term borrowings also. And remember the type of debenture include secured mortgage, redeemable, irredeemable, convertible, non-convertible, registered and unregistered debentures. And the different journal entries we have to write at the time of application money. Bank account to debenture application to debentures. If the excess application is rejected, debenture application accounted to bank. And when we are allotting the shares, debentures, sorry, not shares, debentures, debenture allotment accounted to debenture capital due entry. When the amount we receive, bank accounted to debenture allotment. If there is any pro rata allotment, that means excess application money on debenture is adjusted with the debenture allotment, the entry will be debenture application accounted to debenture allotment. So remember, and at the time of receiving the amounts remaining in calls, entry will be debenture call accounted to debenture capital due entry, and when we receive bank accounted to debentures, that is the debenture call, maybe first call or second call, that is the entry when we are receiving the amount. Moving to some other areas, debentures can be issued at par, premium, and discount. There is no restriction for the issue of debenture at discount. So it can be issued at discount. You know very well, discount concept includes issuing the debenture less than its par value or nominal value. So the entry will be debenture allotment account debtor, discount on issue of debenture account debtor to debentures. That is the entry you have to keep in mind. And another concept is issue of debenture at premium. When the debentures are issued more than its face value, par value, or nominal value. The entry will be debenture allotment accounted to debentures to securities premium reserve. What it may be, if the shares or debentures are issued at premium, the excess amount which is received as premium will be transferred to the securities premium reserve account. So don't forget. And another concept is issue of debenture for consideration other than cash. When the company purchases some assets, then we are issuing debenture instead of paying cash. So assets accounted to vendors accounted to debenture, that is the entries. If the debentures are issued at discount or premium for the vendor, if it is issued at a discount, entry will be vendors account at discount on issue of debenture account at to debentures. If it is issued at, if the debenture is issued at premium, vendors account at to debentures to securities premium reserve. Please keep in mind all these entries. So my dear students, debentures are issued consideration other than cash in different ways also. Like when they are issuing the debenture for purchasing already existing business, the entry will be as we learned asset account debtor, goodwill account debtor to liability account to vendors account, or asset account debtor to liability account to vendors account to capital reserve. And when the debentures are issued, vendors accounted to debentures account. And some more entries are there like issue of debenture for the promoter, incorporation expense accounted to debentures. If the debentures are issued for the underwriters, underwriting commission accounted to underwriters, underwriters accounted to debenture. Please keep in mind all these entries and the different concepts related to terms of issue of debenture. It includes the different forms of issue of debenture means with its redemption. First one, issue of debenture at par and redeemable at par. Entry will be bank account attached to debenture application and allotment account, debenture application and allotment account attached to debentures. And if it is issued at discount and redeemable at par, bank account debtor to debenture application and allotment account, debenture application and allotment account debtor to allotment account debtor, discount on issue of debenture account debtor to debentures. That is the entry. And if it is issued at premium and redeemable at par, entry will be bank account debtor to debenture application and allotment account, debenture application and allotment account debtor to debentures to securities premium reserve. If it is issued at par and redeemable at par, entry will be bank account debtor to debenture application and allotment account. Then the entry, second entry will be debenture application and allotment account debtor, loss on issue of debenture account debtor to debentures account to premium on redemption of debentures account. And fifth case, issued at discount and redeemable at premium, entries will be bank account debtor to debenture application and allotment, debenture application and allotment account debtor, loss on issue of debenture account debtor to debentures to premium on redemption of debenture. And sixth case is issued at premium and redeemable at premium, bank account debtor to debenture application and allotment when they receive the application money, and debenture application and allotment account debtor, loss on issue of debenture account debtor to debentures account to securities premium account to premium on redemption of debenture account. These are the entries you have to keep in mind. Sometimes in board exam you can face these type of 6 categories for 6 marks. One question will be there with these terms of issue of debenture. Statements will be there like this with values of debentures issued and redeemed. You have to write these 2 entries for all the cases, and keep in mind you can expect this for 6 mark question. Don't forget. And another important area related to interest on debenture, how to write off the amount, how to provide the amount of interest on debenture. Due entries, debenture interest account to income tax payable or tax deductible at source to debenture holders account. When we are paying the amount, debenture holders account to bank, interest paid to the debentures, and when it is adjusted from profit and loss account to debentures interest. And when the tax is paid to the government, income tax payable account to bank. So these are the entries we can expect for 4 marks from this area. And another important area, writing off of discount or loss on issue of debenture. Writing off of loss or discount on issue of debenture. Remember, every year the amount of loss on issue of debenture or discount on issue of debenture will be written off from current year's profit or security premium reserve. It will be written off from 2 sources. One it is statement of profit and loss, and another it is from the securities premium reserve. And the entry will be profit and loss account debtor or securities premium reserve account debtor to discount or loss on issue of debenture. So my dear students, keep in mind we can expect 8 mark question from this area, objective type questions, 4 mark question. Also we can expect 6 mark question from this area. And don't forget to remember, sometimes they are asking to draw the extract of balance sheet where the debentures are recorded. So you have to know it very clearly. You have to learn how to prepare the note to account for recording the debentures and also for recording the entry amount related to debentures in the balance sheet, extract of balance sheet. So these are the things from this chapter, issue of debenture. And moving to the next part in our accountancy area, part B, financial statements of a company. Financial statements of a company. You know very well, the balance sheet and everything are prepared in 2 different forms. One is horizontal form of balance sheet, another one is vertical form of balance sheet. And my dear students, we are going to learn about the vertical form of balance sheet which is prepared for the company. It shows the systematic arrangement of equity and liability in the first. There we will write all the amounts related to equity and liability by writing separate headings and subheading for each and every item. And in the second part, there will be total items related to assets. It will be recorded under two different headings, non-current asset and current asset. So remember, the statement which is prepared to find out the financial position of a company is known as financial statement of a company. So you have to keep in mind what are the different objectives of preparing these financial statement to provide the information about the economic resources and obligation of the business, to provide information about the earning capacity of the business, to provide information about the cash inflows and outflow, to judge the effectiveness of the skill of management, to know more about the information relating to the activities of business affecting the society, disclosing account policies. So these are the objectives of preparing financial statements by the company. So keep in mind all the things. And this is the first part of the format of balance sheet. It includes the headings, like you have to learn in detail what are the headings and subheadings. Why? Because we can expect for 3 or 4 marks, especially for 3 marks, CBSE is asking you have to write the headings and subheadings under which you will record the items. So the major headings are equity and liability and asset. And in equity and liability, subheadings are shareholders fund, which includes share capital, reserve and surplus, money received against share warrant, and the next heading is share application money pending allotment. Third heading is non-current liability, which includes long-term borrowings, deferred tax liability. Deferred tax liability means accounting the difference between accounting income and taxable income. And the items like other long-term liabilities, long-term provisions. Current liability, another heading which includes short-term borrowings, trade payables, other current liability, and short-term provisions. So moving to the second part, there we have to remember the assets. Non-current asset and current asset are the two categories. Non-current asset include fixed asset, fixed asset include tangible and intangible asset, capital work in progress, intangible asset under construction, non-current investment, deferred tax asset, long-term loans and advances provided by the company, other non-current assets. And the current assets include current investment, inventories, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalents, short-term loans and advances, other current assets. So please keep in mind the format related to vertical form of balance sheet, very important for learning the whole concepts in part B of it. And also we have to remember the format of statement of profit and loss which is prepared for the companies. It will begin with the revenue from operation. Total revenue from operation. It includes the total amount of income and other incomes. Then we will write the different total items which is included in the total expense. The different items which is included in the total expenses. The difference between the revenue and expense is profit before extraordinary items or tax. So remember the formats. And we are moving to the next area, analysis of financial statement. Analysis of financial statement is the process of analyzing the different areas related to financial statements using the different tools like accounting ratios, cash flow statement, fund flow statement, break-even analysis, trend analysis, and comparative and common size statement of balance sheet and profit and loss. So tools of financial statement includes all that things, and the objectives of financial analysis is very important. We can expect this for 1 mark question also. One is to assess the current profitability and operational efficiency of the firm, to ascertain the relative importance and different components of the financial position of the firm. Another objectives are to identify the reasons for the change in the profitability, to judge the ability of the firm to repay its debt, and assessing the short-term as well as the long-term liquidity position of the firm. So these are the objectives of analyzing the financial statement, and the tools of financial statement analysis include: first one, the comparative statement. Comparative statement is a statement which captures the changes in all the items of financial statement in absolute and percentage terms over a period of time. There we are comparing 2 years performance. Just look at the format. We can prepare comparative statement of balance sheet and a statement of profit and loss. So this is the format regarding the comparative statement of profit and loss. Just look at that. In the first particular column, there we will write all the items. Then we will write the first year amount and the second year amount. Means first year means previous year amount and the second year means current year amount. Then we will find out the difference between current year minus previous year. That is absolute increase or decrease. Then we will find out the percentage change. Percentage change means percentage increase or decrease. How we can find out? Here we have to take first year as A, second year as B, and B minus A, that is C. Absolute increase is C. B minus A is C. And it is D. Percentage increase or decrease is D. How we can find out the value of D? Percentage increase or decrease? Percentage change can be calculated by taking this absolute change divided by first year value into 100. That percentage shows how much change is happened for that particular item from the previous year to the current year. So that is comparative statement. Like the same, we can prepare the in particular column only one change is happening for the comparative statement of balance sheet. There we are recording all the items, equity and liability and the total asset. That's only the change happened for that. And another tool is common size statement. Common size statement is very important. All these areas we can expect for 4-mark question and choice level question you can expect. Common size statement, it is a statement express all the items of a financial statement as a percentage of some common basis. Common basis we are taking as the total of balance sheet, and just look at that. Here it is also common size statement of profit and loss is given. Here we are writing the first part up to absolute amount. It is a question. It is a question, and then we are calculating the percentage. When we are calculating the preparing the common size balance sheet, there we are writing in the particular column we are writing the total items under equity and liability and the asset, and the percentage will be calculated separately for first year and second year, means previous year and current year. There we will take the total of equity and liability and also total of asset as the base. Total of that balance sheet will be for each year will be taken to find out the percentage. But when we prepare the common size statement of profit and loss, we will take the revenue from operation as the base value to find out the percentage. That is the difference. And remember all that things. Moving to the next chapter, that is next area. Actually, ratio analysis is another chapter. It is another tool. Ratio analysis is another tool of financial statement analysis. Here we are calculating a lot of ratios to find out the different changes happened for each and every item. And another tool is cash flow statement. It shows the statement which shows the inflow and outflow of cash. The statement shows the inflow and outflow of cash. 3 areas are there: cash flow from operating activity, cash flow from investing activity, and the cash flow from financing activities. So my dear students, these are the important tools of financial analysis. You can expect 4-mark question from comparative statement and the common size statement preparation. So don't forget to prepare that area. So do maximum problems from that area. Okay. My dear students, moving to the next area, accounting ratio. You know very well, it includes a lot of ratios we have to learn, but we can expect maximum 4 to 6 marks, 6-mark questions from this area. So we have to prepare before that. What is accounting ratio? So every time a ratio shows the relationship between 2 numbers. Here we are analyzing the different values and considering and finding out what is the relationship between that 2 items. For example, what is the relation between current asset and current liability, or what is the relationship between debt and equity. That is calculated by using these type of ratios, and the different objectives of finding out these type of ratios are: first one, to know the areas of business which is needed more attention. We have to give more concentration. Another, to know about the potential areas which can be improved, and to provide a deeper analysis of the profitability, liquidity, solvency, and efficiency level of the business. Another thing, to provide information for making cross-sectional analysis, and also to provide information derived from the financial statements useful for marketing projections and also for making different projections by the business authorities at the top level. So moving to the different classification of ratio. First one is the advantages of ratios analysis include the helps for the understanding efficiency of the decisions of management, simplicity, that means every bulk data is simplified. Complex figures are shown as a simple figure with through the relationship as a proportion or percentage. It will be very much helpful for the comparative analysis and for the identification of problem areas in business and strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis. SWOT analysis is also possible, and for various comparison we are using accounting ratio. So a lot of advantages are there. Not much important area, but keep in mind all these points. And moving to the different types of ratios, liquidity ratio, which include current ratio and liquidity ratio, and the solvency ratio, which include debt equity ratio, debt to capital employed ratio, profitability ratio, total asset to debt ratio, interest coverage ratio. Lot of times there CBC asked in the board exam interest coverage ratio. And moving to the other categories, activity ratio include the inventory turnover ratio, trade receivable turnover ratio, trade payable turnover ratio, and we have to learn only one more item, that is working capital turnover ratio. And moving to the other categories, profitability ratios include gross profit ratio, operating ratio, operating profit ratio, net profit ratio, and return on investment. These are things we have to learn as per the syllabus. Moving to the first category, liquidity ratios. You know very well, liquidity ratios are used to find out the liquidity position of the business, whether they are able to convert the current assets into cash to pay the current liabilities. So it includes two ratios, current ratio and liquidity ratio. Current ratio and liquid ratio. So remember, current ratio can be calculated by using the equation current asset divided by current liability. Current ratio is the proportion between or the relationship between current asset and liability. It helps for finding out what is the financial position, what are the different current assets which can be converted into cash, which can be easily converted into cash within 1 year. So it shows current asset divided by current liability 2:1 is the best current ratio. Remember, quick ratio or liquid ratio, there we are calculating by deducting some items from the current asset like stock, and some more items are deducted like the prepaid expense and advance taxes will be deducted to find out quick asset. It is the ratio of quick asset to current liability. That means quick ratio shows the relationship between quick asset and current liability. Don't forget the equation. Quick ratio is equal to quick asset divided by current liability. And another thing, solvency ratio. So first category of liquidity ratio include liquid ratio and current ratio, or current ratio and quick ratio. Solvency ratio shows the ability of the firm to pay its long-term liability. So different the solvency ratios are debt equity ratio, debt to capital employed ratio, proprietary ratio, total asset to debt ratio, interest coverage ratio, as I told, very important for the board exams. First of all, moving to the debt equity ratio, it shows the relationship between debt and equity. 2:1 is the ideal debt equity ratio. So the equation, please keep in mind, long-term debt divided by shareholders fund. That is the equation you have to keep in mind for the calculation of debt equity ratio. Lot of possibilities are there which can be asked for the board exam. Don't forget, it's very simple. And the debt to capital employed ratio, actually it is not in our syllabus. And next ratio is proprietary ratio. Proprietary ratio, it shows the relationship between proprietors fund or shareholders fund and the capital employed. So please keep in mind the equation. proprietary ratio is equal to shareholders fund divided by capital employed. And remember, shareholders fund include share capital plus reserve and surplus and money received against shareholder. And capital employed is otherwise known as net asset. Another ratio is total asset to debt ratio that shows it measures the extent to which the coverage of long-term debt is possible by using the total asset of the firm. So the ratio total asset to debt ratio is equal to total asset divided by long-term debt. Long-term debt, it includes the long-term borrowings and long-term provision. So keep in mind, very important area, interest coverage ratio, the ratio which deals with the serving interest on loan, interest on debenture, all that things. It shows whether the firm is able to pay the different amounts of interest within the upcoming year, within the financial year. So the ratio shows the relationship between net profit and long-term interest, and it indicates whether the firm is able to pay the amount of interest on long-term debt from the available amount of profit. So the equation is, keep in mind, interest coverage ratio is equal to net profit before interest and tax divided by interest on long-term debt. And moving to the next category, activity or turnover ratio. The different activity or turnover ratio include inventory turnover ratio, very important ratio. Lot of times in board exam they asked, and trade receivable turnover ratio, trade payable turnover ratio, and working capital turnover ratio. Moving to the next ratio, first one is under the activity turnover ratio, we have to give much importance for interest inventory turnover ratio. It determines the number of times inventory is converted. Inventory means stock. It is converted into revenue from operation. And use this equation, inventory turnover ratio is equal to cost of revenue from operation divided by average inventory. Average inventory can be calculated by adding and dividing, but opening inventory plus closing inventory divided by 2, that is average inventory. Please keep in mind this equation. And a trade receivable turnover ratio shows whether the firm is to convert its credit revenue from the operations of trade receivable. So trade receivable ratio shows the relationship between net credit revenue from operation and average trade receivable. So the equation, net credit revenue from operation divided by average trade receivable. It is used to find out, not much important area. And trade payable turnover ratio, another thing, it shows the relationship between net credit purchases and average trade payable. And use this equation, net credit purchase divided by average trade payable for calculating the ratio, trade payable turnover ratio. And another important area we have to give much important, working capital turnover ratio. Use this equation, net revenue from operation divided by working capital, that is used to find out the working capital turnover ratio. Moving to the last category of accounting ratio, that are profitability ratios. It includes the calculation of gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, operating profit ratio, and return on investment. Gross profit ratio is showing the relationship between the gross profit and the net revenue from operation. So it will be expressed in terms of percentage, and use this equation, gross profit divided by net revenue from operation into 100. So at this moment you have to remember how to find out the gross profit. Okay. And moving to the next ratio, operating ratio. It is computed to analyze the cost of operation in relation to revenue from operation. So please remember the equation, cost of revenue from operation plus operation expenses, means operating expenses, divided by net sales or revenue from operation into 100. So remember that equation. And operating profit ratio, it is very simple to find out. It is calculated to reveal the operating margin. And remember, the equation is 100 minus operating ratio. Operating ratio. Or we can use another equation, operating profit divided by net revenue from operation. So it's very simple. Remember all these things, and moving to the next one, net profit ratio shows the relationship between net profit and net revenue from operation. So remember the equation net profit divided by net revenue from operation into 100 is the equation you can use for the calculation of net profit ratio. Please keep in mind. And last ratio is return on investment or return on capital employed, ROCE or ROI. It explains the overall utilization of the fund by a business enterprise, how the capital is effectively utilized for generating profit. So we are using the equation profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed into 100. Profit before interest and tax divided by capital employed into 100. That is the equation we are using. So remember, my dear students, these are the things we have to remember in the chapter accounting ratio. As I told earlier, we can expect 4 to 6 mark question from this area. So please keep in mind every time what are the equation, how to find out the items taught for each item in the equations also. So my dear students, moving to the last topic, last chapter in the revision of accountancy. You know very well the chapter which you have to prepare for 8 mark question, 6 mark question in the preparation of cash flow statement, and 2 objective type question also we can expect from this area. So chapter is cash flow statement. Remember, cash flow statement is the statement which shows the inflow and outflow of cash. Inflow and outflow of cash. It is another important tool of financial analysis. Every business firm, especially the large scale business firm, use for the preparation of this statement to find out how much amount is coming in an accounting year in the firm and also going out of the organization. So it have 3 important areas so that we have to remember: investing, financing, and operating. What are the different benefits of cash flow statement? Remember, it enables to assess the financial structure of an organization. It helps in accessing the ability of the enterprise to generate cash and cash equivalents. It also helps in fine-tuning its cash flow and cash outflow, cash inflows and cash outflow, keeping in response to the changing business condition. It helps in comparing the inflows and outflow of cash. Maybe their organization with their previous one, what it may be. These are the benefits of cash flow statement. And what is the different types of cash flows? One is cash flow from operating activities, which includes the different areas like adjustments related to current asset and current liability, non-operating expenses and incomes. Another area is cash flow from financing activity, where we are comparing what is the amount coming into the organization and going out due to the financing activities related to a raising of funds and its repayment of funds. And another area, cash flow from investing activity, where we are learning how to find out the investing inflows and outflows related to purchase of and sale of fixed assets. And remember all these areas. First of all, we have to discuss about cash flow from operating activities. You know very well, here operating activities shows the primarily derived from the main activities of the enterprise, main core activities of the enterprise. They generally results from the transactions, other events that enter into the determination of net profit. That is why when we start the preparation of cash flow statement, we are finding out the value of net profit before extraordinary items that will be utilized. After that, we will adjust all the items like we will add operating expenses, non-operating expenses, and we will deduct non-operating incomes. Then we will adjust changes in the current asset and current liability. Increase in current liability and a decrease in current asset will be added, and also increase in current asset and a decrease in current liability will be deducted. From that amount, we will deduct the income tax paid during the year. So that is operating activity. Please keep in mind. Another one is cash flow from investing activity, where we have to consider more important for the fixed asset. So current asset adjustment from the balance sheet, it is over through the operating activity. And in investing activities are the acquisition and disposal of long-term asset, fixed asset. and other investment not included in the cash equivalents, cash and cash equivalents. So investing activities related to the purchase and sale of long-term assets or fixed asset such as machinery, furniture, land and building, plant and machinery, etc. Transactions related to long-term investment are also investing activity. Long-term investments, non-current investment. So current asset and current liability is not considered while preparing the investing activity. While we are calculating the inflow and outflow of cash in investing activity. So remember, the positive figures are sale of fixed asset and interest received, rent received, and dividend received. Negative figures shows what purchase of fixed asset. So remember that is cash flow from investing activity. And cash flow from financing activity include the fund raised through the different sources. Financing activities are the activities that results in change in the size and composition of the owner's capital and borrowed fund. Separate disclosure of cash inflow arising from the financing activities very important to find out how much amount is raised through the issue of share, debenture, and also collected from the banks and other financial institutions. And also it's very important to know how much amount is repaid, redeemed, isn't it, related to debenture, share, and also how much amount is repaid for the bank loan and any other thing. And also we have to remember how much amount of interest is paid during the year, dividend paid during the year. All that shows outflow of cash. So please keep in mind, and the format of cash flow statement is very important. It will begin with the net profit or loss before tax and extraordinary item. We will add non-operating expenses. We will deduct non-operating incomes, and after that we will get operating profit before working capital changes. Then we will add the increase in current liability and also decrease in current asset. We will deduct increase in current asset and decrease in current liability. Then we will get the amount cash flow from operating activities before tax and extraordinary item. With that amount, we will deduct the income tax paid during the year. You know very well, sometimes we have to open the account for income tax. There also we have to consider. And then after adjusting the income tax, we will get the net cash inflow or outflow from operating activity. That is the amount for part A. And part B include cash flow from investing activity. There you have to remember the purchase of fixed asset is a negative figure. That means outflow of cash, and sale of fixed asset shows inflow of cash. So remember that thing. And there will be some more items like interest received, dividend received, rent received. All these items are related to investment made by the organization in some other companies. So that are related to non-current investment, interest received and dividend received. And when they give the building for rent, then they will get rent also. All that will bring the cash flow from investing activity area. So please keep in mind all these things and remember how to prepare the financing activity area, the part C. There we are recording all the items like cash proceeds from issue of share, debenture, loan, bonds, and other long-term borrowings as positive inflow of cash. And when we are repaying all these things, amount repaid for the shareholder, debenture holder, to the bank, to the bond holder, and other parties, it will be outflow of cash. Interest paid for the debentures, bank loan, outflow of cash. Dividend paid for the shareholder, outflow of cash. Then we are getting the net cash inflow or outflow from the financing activity. So my dear students, after that what we have to do? We have to find out A plus B plus C, the net increase or decrease in the cash and cash equivalents. With that amount, we are adding the cash and cash equivalents at the beginning of the year. If sometimes there will be amount current investment, that amount beginning year will be added with the cash and cash equivalents at the beginning of the year. If at that moment we will get the answer cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year. If current investment is there, that also we will add with the cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year. So my dear students, this is the statement we have to prepare But before preparation of this statement, a small statement is prepared. A small statement is prepared related to the calculation of net profit before tax and extraordinary item. That is very important. Net profit before tax and extraordinary item. So please remember this statement. It will begin with the balance of statement of profit and loss current year less balance of statement of profit and loss previous year. This amount will be available in the heading reserve and surplus. The difference between current year and previous year will be treated as profit. And we will add some items like transferred to general reserve, interim dividend paid during the year, proposed dividend paid during the year, and the provision for taxation current year. And remember, provision for taxation current year will be taken here, previous year will be deducted from the operating activity area. And the proposed dividend, we will consider only one year, that is previous year. You know the reason, current year amount is provided only from the next year's profit. So no need to consider that item. As per the company's provisions of the Companies Act of 2013, we are not considering current year proposed dividend, we are considering only previous year proposed dividend. It will be added here to find out the net profit, and also it will be deducted from the financing activity. No need to consider current year proposed dividend. And one more item, if there is any items like tax refunded, it will be deducted. So my dear students, this value, net profit loss before tax and extraordinary item, will be used as the first item in the statement of profit and loss. Just look at here, the first item, net profit or loss before tax and extraordinary item. That is the thing. And some more item I would like to give as a suggestion. You have to learn very clearly the preparation of accounts, ledger accounts, like fixed asset account, provision for taxation account, and accumulated depreciation account. Very important area, the preparation of fixed asset account. You know very well, there will be two different values, opening and closing value. So you have to open the fixed asset account. Suppose we are opening the land and building account. Please prepare the land and building account ledger format. And in the first two balance brought down, we are writing opening year value, previous year value, and we are writing in the credit side by closing year value. What is that? By balance carried out, closing year value. Then if any asset is sold by bank, if there is any loss, it will be by loss on sale of asset. If there is any accumulated depreciation, by depreciation. And if there is any difference coming in the debit area, that will be treated as purchase of asset. You have to record there to bank. Please keep in mind. And accumulated depreciation account is prepared. It is a liability account. So opening balance will be written in the credit aspect area. That means credit side by balance brought down, and closing value will be written in the debit side to balance carried out. And the depreciation for that particular accumulated depreciation for the particular asset sold, it will be debited to land and building, and the difference value will be written as by statement of profit and loss, that will be transferred to the operating activity area. Remember, and also we have to consider the loss on sale of asset in the operating activity area. It will be added with the loss or expenses will be added with the net profit before tax and extraordinary item. So please keep in mind. And the preparation of provision for taxation also a liability account by balance brought down to balance carried out the closing value, by balance brought down it is the opening value. Then we are writing to bank in the debit side the amount of tax paid during the year, and the closing value will be by statement of profit and loss, that will be taken for the calculation of net profit before tax and extraordinary item. That current year tax paid amount will be deducted from the operating profit. So please keep in mind all these things, and all the very best for your exams. So don't forget to learn the preparation of cash flow statement by preparing more problems. And my dear students, this is the opportunity to score the maximum. Don't forget to watch the entire video. You have to watch the first part video, which includes the total explanation regarding the first areas like non-profit organization and accounting for partnership, accounting for share capital. So thank you for your support. Please share this video with your friends and all the students who are learning accountancy. So thank you. All the very best for your board exam. Definitely you can score 100. Bye.